Today, we are doing the 20-year rebuild of the Carolina Panthers. This team has a lot of young talent and indeed just made the wild card and almost beat the Rams. So with them winning the NFC South and hosting a wild card game against the Rams, I felt like it was a great idea to rebuild them for 20 years to see if they could turn into a dynasty and if Bryce Young is even the answer at quarterback. So here in the re-signed players, we're going to pick up the option for Bryce Young. I'm pretty sure they did that in real life. And then we're going to let Rico Dowdle walk because I'm pretty sure, again, they did that in real life where they're just letting him go. And we are also going to re-sign Ike McConwu because he is going to be our franchise left tackle on a 6-year contract. And then in free agency, Romeo Doubs, Julian Blackmon, Ivan Pace, Kobe Bryant, Arnold Ebiketie, and Isaiah Likely were all in the free agency, and these are all the signings that I got here for the next year. And then here is the draft recap for the 2026 NFL Draft. We drafted at pick 19, 74 overall linebacker, and then round 2, pick 19, we drafted another will linebacker, 73 overall, to kind of give it a pairing here. And then we drafted a 71 overall tight end, 70 overall corner, 64 overall defensive tackle, 63 overall running back. And this is what the team looks like in year 2 to start the season. 7-10 record, missed the playoffs, unfortunately, after just winning the NFC South at 8-9 and making the playoffs. It's very unfortunate. Bryce Young, only 19 passing touchdowns. Chuba Hubbard, not even 1,000 yards. He didn't even have 700 rushing yards. Receiving-wise, Romeo Doubs, our free agent signing, had the most yards. Teteroa McMillan right behind him. And Teteroa McMillan also led the team in touchdowns at 8. We were the 32nd offense in the league, and we were the 4th best defense, so our offensive coordinator is out. Hired Dan Kugler as my offensive coordinator. Maybe that'll change things up here in Carolina. Not going to sign anybody here in the free agency. It's just not worth it. We're just going to advance to the draft and see if I can make a good draft pick. And here is the draft recap. Right tackle was a 74 overall, drafted at pick 12. In round 2, pick 12, we drafted a 77 overall tight end. And then drafted not so good until the 5th round, 73 overall defensive tackle. And then we also drafted a quarterback who might be a replacement, but he's a little too low in the overall department there. So I don't know. We'll see how Bryce Young does in this next season. And here's how the team looks before going into the 2027 season. And we just sneak into the playoffs at 8-9 here at the wild card, playing against the Philadelphia Eagles. We won our division. So that's the second time now the Panthers have won the division, but only first in the simulation for us. And Bryce Young, 36 passing touchdowns, 16 interceptions, only 650 yards for Chuba Hubbard, 4K passing yards for Bryce Young. Teteroa McMillan led the way, 15 touchdowns, 1,100 yards on only 70 catches. Defensively, Derek Brown led the way in sacks, only person with double-digit sacks, and then J.C. Horn had 5 interceptions. And we'll lose a nail-biter in OT to the Philadelphia Eagles. And that eliminates us from the playoffs. We're going to accept the option on Teteroa McMillan and then try to make an offer here on Bryce Young. He led us to the playoffs again, so I think that it's worth giving him a little bit of an extension, not that long, and see if he can prove himself. Unfortunately, he didn't want to take an offer, so I'm just going to franchise tag him and keep him here. We're going to offer to Jalen Coker as well. We're going to offer on Damian Lewis. Damian Lewis comes back to the team, and Bryce Young's franchise tag is now officially put into place. He'll have 1 year to prove himself as the franchise quarterback for this team. Not going to make any offers in the free agency again to save some money. We're just going to go straight to the draft. And here is the draft recap. 78 overall edge rusher Trent Grant went at pick 19. And then in round 2, we drafted a quarterback who was a 74 overall. Again, just drafting a possible replacement for Bryce Young. We don't know what's going to happen with him yet. And then a 64 overall corner was a missed pick. 71 overall running back, 70 overall wide receiver, 67 overall edge rusher, and then a 72 overall defensive tackle. And this is what the team looks like going into the 2028 NFL season. 9-8 just made the playoffs. It's our first positive record of the video, though. We're going to look at the stats. Bryce Young, 4,600 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, the 18th best offense, and the 21st defense. We were 31st in offensive rush yards. Chuba Hubbard only 584, but 13 touchdowns. Teteroa McMillan, 1,400 yards, almost 1,500, 15 touchdowns. Romeo Doubs over 1,000, almost over 1,000 yards. 15 sacks for the rookie Trent Grant. 8.5 for Derek Brown. 6 interceptions for J.C. Horn. And this team is starting to slowly come together here. We'll see if we can make a deep playoff push here going into game 1 against the New York Giants. And we'll get bounced, not even putting up a single touchdown, losing 20-3 here against the Giants in the wild card. Gonna make an offer here on the edge rusher, Nick Scordon, and then we're gonna also make an offer on... Derek Brown. Just whatever he wants. The offer is perfect. He's back for 2 more years. And I kind of do want to bring back Princely. He has just been like a good pairing with Nick, and he does not want to come back. Okay, wow. We're going to make an offer on Bryce Young. If he doesn't want to come back, we're going to let him test out the free agency, test out his options, and if we can get him back there, we can get him back there. But just want to see, let him test out at least. Maybe he'll go to a different team. Who knows? And for those of you guys wondering, The Patriots won year 1, the Browns lost to the Eagles year 2, and then the Jaguars won year 3 so far. So this is where we are throughout the simulation so far. Romeo Dobbs says he wants to test out free agency, so that is another L. And possibly our first year without Bryce Young. There's no better quarterback option than Bryce Young right now at 87 overall, 28-year-old star. We're going to make a little bit of an offer on him. Going to bump the money up just a bit. Maybe he'll come to us. I mean, we're the team that's in the lead right now. It's either us or the Titans. So, would you want to go to shit or more shit? Also going to make an offer here on Martin Emerson to try to beef up our cornerbacks. They are really bad. And also Tyson Campbell. JC Horn is literally the only cornerback that we have on the roster right now. So maybe offers on them will help out our defense. And maybe we'll make a big playoff push next year. I mean, we only went 9-8 this year. Again, first positive record of the video. Could be in for some big things. Bryce Young is still not there yet. It's between me and the Titans still. We're going to do it again. Still has not come to me. The Jets have now put an offer on. And he has just signed somewhere. And Bryce Young is back on a 4-year deal to this Carolina Panthers team. And since we need a running back, we're going to sign Blake Corum on a 5-year cheap deal to be our starting running back for the foreseeable future. And looking at the draft recap, we've only had 2 good picks in this draft, and they were both linemen, left tackle, and center, 73 and 74 overall, and the rest of the players were just misses, honestly. And here is a look at the team going into the 2029 NFL season. 13-4 record with the bye week in the NFC. That's exactly why we re-signed Bryce Young right there. 31st in offensive rush yards and 31st in defensive rush yards per game. However, 13-4 record, top of your NFC. We'll take a look at the stats. Bryce Young, 5,200 passing yards, 44 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. Blake Corum, 700 rushing yards. 3 players over 1,000 yards, 17 touchdowns for Tetairoa McMillan. And on the yearly awards list, how does Joe Burrow win the MVP over Bryce Young? I got to see these stats. This is actually ridiculous that Joe Burrow even won that. I mean, Burrow had 100 less yards, 1 less touchdown, and 1 more interception, and 1 point less on the passer rating. How does that even make sense? Not going to fret over it too much as we're going to advance to the divisional here and hope that the Bengals didn't even make the Super Bowl or the playoffs or anything here. We're going to go up against the Green Bay Packers here in the divisional round. What a game. We win 22-7. The Packers are eliminated, and we are moving on to the conference championship for the first time in this video here in 2029. Holy injuries, man. Not making any excuses if we lose this game, but in the 4th quarter here, 17-16, we're doing play-by-play now. 24-16, it is going to be a trip to the Super Bowl here in 2029. 24-16 victory, and we will see who we will play in the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes versus Bryce Young here in 2029. And here in Super Bowl 64, Dave Canales and Bryce Young are Super Bowl champions as we take down Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, sending, hopefully, Andy Reid into retirement. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We have won our first Super Bowl of the video here. And it's before the year 2030. Gonna try to re-sign Eddie Fullen, our superstar Sam linebacker. He said that's a good offer. He's back for a few more years. And then looks like we're at the franchise tag. Tetairoa McMillan, maybe looking through other players, trying to make an offer on them, but maybe Ivan Pace, but I don't know. It's not really worth spending the money. Just gonna do our 5th-year option on Freddie Ramsey, the right tackle. And again, I'm gonna try to make an offer on Ivan Pace. So he's gonna test out free agency. Don't want to franchise tag him, but I do want to franchise tag our receiver here. And then Sebastian Diaz, our center, starting center. We're gonna make an offer on him, and he's gonna test out free agency as well. Okay, well, that sucks. It looks like Tetairoa McMillan's franchise tag is into effect now. We're negative $23 million into cap hell. So we're just going to sim right to the draft and try to make some good draftings here. And here was our draft recap. A 72 overall will linebacker to 71 overall halfback. Other than that, it was a pretty ass draft. And here's what the team looks like going into 2030. Again, the reigning Super Bowl champions looking to go back-to-back here. And we will be 10-7 in the wild card round, beating the Chiefs here in Week 18, 32-13. We're going up against the San Francisco 49ers. But before I even jump into the game, we're going to take a look at the stats here. Bryce Young, 5,200 passing yards, 40 touchdowns, only 13 interceptions. Rushing-wise, Blake Corum, almost 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. So again, we haven't really found our franchise running back yet. It's someone who could average over 1,000 rushing yards. But it's just someone who's just very mid, a bridge running back, pretty much, we've just had every single year. That's interesting. Receiving wise, Tedero McMillan almost 2,000 receiving yards, 1,817 touchdowns. And then we had 2 other receivers go over 1,000. And then defensively, I see the 17 sacks for Trent Grant. What a great drafting he was. 2 picks for Tyson Campbell, the free agent, tied with J.C. Horn and Trayvon Merrick. And we're going up against the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara in the wild card round, where we will win 24-21 and advance to the divisional round. And yet another embarrassing game against the Jackson Dart-led New York Giants. 35-14 loss as we get bounced in the divisional. Again, it was another loss in the playoffs to the Giants. Last time we played them, it was 20-3. This time it is a big score to a little score, 35-14. So, and the Raiders will win the Super Bowl. We have $103 million in cap to spend here in the re-sign phase. So we're going to accept the option here on Trent Grant. He's just been so good for us. You might as well. And Tedero McMillan is going to be another franchise tag year for him. Curtis Teague, our Mike linebacker, we'll make a 5-year offer on him. He says that's a good offer. Done deal. Perfect. J.C. Horn maybe is someone I want to bring back. He's a little old. He's 31 years old now. And then the motivations for Tedero McMillan just not in my favor. No one has really any re-sign interest in us, even though we just won the Super Bowl literally last year. Going to make an offer on Trevor Cotton. I mean, we kind of have to. He's 93 overall, 25-year-old tight end. We're never going to get this offer again. So he is back on a 6-year deal. We got him locked down for a long deal. J.C. Horn again. Going to make the offer on him. He's back for another year. And then it looks like it is time to franchise tag Tedero McMillan. Derek Brown is walking. And Tedero McMillan is coming back to this team. We're in cap hell yet again. So there is no point of really even looking at the free agency. We have $14 million in cap that I kind of want to save. But we will get a running back here to hopefully boost our rushing attack. It's been really bad. And then we're just going to sim to the draft here. And here is your draft recap. We drafted another edge rusher to pair with Trent Grant. Sal Taylor, 75 overall. We drafted a 74 overall halfback, 70 overall wide receiver, and the rest were just misses. And this is what the team looks like going into the 2031 NFL season. 11-6 playing the Minnesota Vikings here in the wild card. So we've been pretty good in terms of having a positive record since the beginning of the video. But a 90 overall team with a 93 offense, only 11-6 is a little bit concerning. And before we go into the game, let's take a look at the stats. Bryce Young, 5,400 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, only 5 picks, 400 yards for the rookie running back. Receiving-wise, Tedero McMillan, 1,800 yards, 21 touchdowns. 2 other receivers went over 1,000 yet again. Sack-wise, Luke Van Ness led the way at 14.5. The rookie, Sal Taylor, was up there as well as Trent Grant and 1 other player. We're going to go into this Vikings game now, where we will dominate 41-15 and move on to the divisional round yet again. And we'll beat the Los Angeles Rams here in the divisional, winning 35-14. Going up against the Eagles in the conference championship, where we will lose 24-14. And then for those of you who are interested, the Eagles won this year, the Raiders won the year before that, and then we know the rest as we saw I won in 2029, and then the rest of the teams were listed out over there in 2028 and 2027, and even 2026. Don't really have any salary cap to work with in this free agency, so we're just going to go straight to the draft. And here's our draft recap. The first 2 picks were pretty good. A 73 overall left tackle, 72 overall Sam linebacker, and the rest were just absolute misses yet again. The edge rusher might have been okay as a backup. We'll see what happens. And here is your team going to the 2032 NFL season. At the playoffs, we secure a bye week, 14-3, the best record of the whole entire video. Bryce Young, 4,800 pass yards, 38 He won the MVP. Bryce Young brings it home. 38 touchdowns, only 2 picks. 800 rushing yards for Grant Scott. And we had 3 receivers yet again go over 1,000 receiving yards. 19.5 sacks for Trent Grant. The Westbrook defensive tackle we drafted a little bit ago was second as well. So that is interesting. Bryce Young with 40,000 career passing yards. That should put him at the Panthers record. Yep, Bryce Young owns the Panthers record. Tedero McMillan is the leader in the touchdown catches for the Panthers all time, and we have a bye week, so we will go to the divisional and see who we play. Go up against the Falcons here in the divisional here, and I wish I didn't go up against the Falcons here. We lost 27-17. Not making excuses, but we did have a lot of injuries this time around. Yet again, that is very unfortunate. Oh man, we don't have enough money, and we got to make some big decisions on some re-signs. It's going to suck getting rid of a 99 overall wide receiver in Chris Einstein, but we're going to franchise tag Trent Grant, who has been so good for us defensively. I mean, we just have to go. We just let him go. And we're going to try to get a wide receiver in free agency, just someone who's just young and a decent enough overall to try to fill in that spot of Chris Einstein. Also going to make an offer on a free safety here, as we do not have one, and no one has made an offer on him yet. So that should be a easy get. We do get the wide receiver, but the free safety does not want to sign to me yet. And here is your draft recap. We drafted a strong safety, who's a 76 overall. We drafted a 74 overall strong safety with our second pick, and the rest were misses yet again. I'm going to convert one of the safeties into a corner, I feel like, or maybe even a free safety here, as one of them has 91 speed. And here's what your team looks like going into the 2033 NFL season. So I don't really show mid-season, but I'm going to show you this now because Bryce Young is actually injured, and this team is struggling right now. We're a 3-4 record, bottom of the NFC South. We have 2 quarterbacks actually who are out. So we had Will Reichard filling in at quarterback here. That's how doomed we are as a team. However, we will make the playoffs at 10-7, sneaking in against the Seattle Seahawks. Bryce Young with a 19 touchdown, only 6 interception season. 3 quarterbacks had their way this season in our offense. And we'll take a look at the stats for Bryce Young here. Look at his season stats, where it looks like he got hurt in week 4 and then came back on week 13 and honestly saved this team from being eliminated from the playoffs. So thank you, Bryce Young, for coming back after winning your MVP and saving this team. 500 rushing yards for that Grant guy again. Receiving wise, Teteroa McMillan, 1,600 yards, 19 touchdowns. And then defensively, Trent Grant yet again leading the way, and Curtis Teague with the interception way this time. And then we're going to go up against the Seattle Seahawks here in the wild card, where we're going to win 22-7. And we have the Commanders here in the divisional round, where we will blow them out 36-9. And then since we beat the Commanders and it was the conference championship, we'll sim it to the Super Bowl. And oh my, that was the divisional. We lost to the Vikings in the conference. That was the divisional. Okay. And the Vikings will lose to the Broncos. We could have been beating them right now, or we could have lost to them, either one, but complete blunder. We'll have our right guard retiring, so at least it's not as big as it could have been, but man, that is a bad way to lose. We have a lot of people to re-sign, Bryce Young included. We're going to get him on a 4-year deal, hopefully 3-year deal, maybe even. Let's see. He said the offer's perfect on the 3-year deal. And Trent Grant here, 28-year-old, 5-year deal. And he's locked down for the next 5 years. So we have him to 2038. Sal Taylor, we're going to accept the option on him. Rudy Meekins, I remember drafting him. Matt Ariza, I want back. He's 34 years old. We're going to get him back on 4-year deal till he's 38 years old. Just have a franchise punter pretty much and not have to worry about it. And then Rudy Meekins here on a 6-year deal. He said he's excited to stay with the team. Not really make an offer on the strong safety. He doesn't have to come back to us if he doesn't want to, but he will. Just be a backup for us in the long run. And then in the free agency, we picked up a superstar Sam linebacker in Cooper Parker, superstar guard in Middleton, and then we picked up a corner as well. And in the draft recap, we only made one good draft. I think it was a strong safety at 74 overall. We're going to move him to a linebacker position, I think, and then trying to see how the defense looks. And then here is your team going into the 2034 NFL season. Here at the playoffs, we sneak in at 8-9 against the Dallas Cowgirls. We were the 3rd seed in the NFC South, but still managed to sneak in. Unreal. Bryce Young, 5K passing yards, 42 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Does that win you an MVP? It does not. He's second in the MVP race, which is unbelievable that even happened, but oh well. And we're going up against the Cowboys here in the wild card, where it wasn't even close. We're going to win 26-3. Feels like that game we played against the Giants a few seasons ago. And we have our division rival Saints here in the divisional, where again we put up 26 points and they only put up 7. So we move on to the conference championship, where this time I won't skip over it. And we have the Minnesota Vikings here in the conference championship. So the rematch from last year that we didn't get to see the game last year because I simmed over it, but we will get our revenge, win 27-17, and move on to the Super Bowl, where this 8-9 Panthers team will go up against the 14-3 Jacksonville Jaguars and win 31-24, beating Trevor Lawrence and securing Bryce Young's 2nd Super Bowl of the video. We're going to sign a new defensive coordinator, as I feel like our defense has been letting us down. I mean, it was really bad this year. So hopefully that'll change something. We're going to switch to the Pittsburgh playbook here, and maybe that'll help us out. Who knows? We have no money at all, so we'll just franchise tag Sam Fullen here and advance to the draft. And here is your team going into the 2035 NFL season. Wow, 13-4 record here, top of the NFC. We do get the bye week here. 91 overall team. Look at the stats. Bryce Young, 5,300 passing yards, 42 touchdowns. Does that get you the MVP? It does not. Snubbed yet again as the Falcons quarterback wins the MVP. Again, second year in a row. But Bryce has been thriving, so that's good news. And we'll sim to the divisional week, where we will play the Los Angeles Rams, the 10-7 Rams. And we'll win 27-24, and we move on to the conference championship, where we'll be playing their division rival, the San Francisco 49ers. And not even a close game. We win 41-28, and we move on to the Super Bowl for the third time in this video, where we will be playing the Miami Dolphins here in 2035. Super Bowl 70. And it's again not even close. 31-17. Probably our best playoff run of the video. And we will win back-to-back Super Bowls here. And now Bryce Young has 3 Super Bowls and an MVP. So you'd assume that that would put him high up there in the legacy leaderboard. He honestly should have 3 MVPs and 3 Super Bowls, but the game snubbed him 2 years in a row. And Bryce Young will retire after 13 years in the league. Oh my God. And on the legacy leaderboard, Bryce Young, 25,000 legacy, 3 Super Bowls, 8 yearly awards, 1 MVP to his name. He does go above Aaron Rodgers by only 70 points, but that is a very unfortunate way to go out for Bryce Young. In my eyes, at least. In his eyes, back-to-back Super Bowl champions might as well go out on top. But damn, that sucks for me, because now I got to find a new quarterback. And re-signing some players. We have a lot of money to work with now that Bryce Young is out of the picture. Sal Taylor, defensive tackle, 5-year deal. Our best defensive tackle on the whole entire roster. He said he's back and ready to play with us. Tedero McMillan, going to finish out his career here in Carolina on a 2-year deal to bring him to 35 years old when he is done with his deal. And we have a 27-year-old, 86 superstar corner. He's back with this team for plenty of years. We'll accept the option on JJ Boss and put an offer on Joel Spiegel, who said this offer is perfect. He's ready for next season. And then Luis Enriquez is back for 5 years as well. And then 74 overall defensive tackle said he is back. He's a superstar, so might as well re-sign him as well. And that is everybody we're going to sign. In the free agency, we're going to make an offer here on Mitchell Thigpen, who has nobody making an offer on him. We're going to do a 6-year deal on him to bring him to 35 years old when he is done with this team. Hopefully, he can be our next franchise quarterback, bridge franchise quarterback in a way. And he has not accepted our offer yet. Maybe we're not offering him enough money, but I don't really want to be dishing out so much money to an already 29-year-old quarterback who hasn't proved himself in the league at all. But he does sign with us. We have our replacement for Bryce Young for the next 6 years, bringing us to 2041. Close to the end of the video here is where he'll end up. That's big. And then here is the draft recap. We hit on 2 left tackles, so obviously going to rearrange them into the offensive line and make this line stacked out. 76 overall left tackle, 32nd in the second round is outrageous. Cannot believe we got him at the 64th pick. And here is your team going into the 2036 NFL season. Made the playoffs at 12-5 in the wild card against the division rival Atlanta Falcons. So Thigpen didn't even get to play. It looks like Calvin Peterman was our quarterback this year. Interesting. He had 5,100 yards. And we're going up against the Atlanta Falcons here in the wild card. All right, our first playoff game without Bryce Young. Unfortunately, we will lose 20-17 and get knocked out of the wild card. And Amari Bowden, our cornerback, I'm going to accept the 5th-year option on. Ezra Glass, our strong safety, is coming back to the team as well. Josh Wiggins, the free safety, is coming back with us as well. And then our backup quarterback, CJ Stroud, is not going to come back to us. I don't want him back. And we're just going to sign a wide receiver here just to have some depth. Evan Kramer. And here is your draft recap. 75 overall halfback, taking a 23 overall in the draft. And then we drafted a edge rusher who was a 71 overall. We drafted a quarterback, something Balmer here, 65 overall quarterback in the 3rd round. Good backup maybe. And here is your team going to the 2037 NFL season. at the playoffs, 11-6, playing the Washington Commanders in the wild card round. And Mitchell Thigpen led the NFL, 5,100 yards, 42 touchdowns, only 3 picks. And he'll win the MVP. We now have 2 quarterbacks winning the MVP here, Bryce Young and Mitchell Thigpen. And we're going up against the Washington Commanders in the wild card, where we will win 17-10 against the Commanders and move on to host the Rams. I feel like we've seen this team a lot in the playoffs, but we do win yet again here against the Rams, 24-21, and move on to the conference championship, where we'll beat the Packers 17-10 and move on to the Super Bowl. A little bit of a Super Bowl rematch here, I believe. We're going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Can Mitchell Thigpen bring it home for this team? Nope, we lose 31-28. Our first Super Bowl loss of the video, our 4th appearance. We've won 3 and we've lost 1 now. Thigpen cannot get it done. Have a lot of money to work with here in this offseason, $116 million. So we'll take a look at if we want to re-sign many of these people. It doesn't look like it. We'll accept the option on Sean Ross. But other than that, I don't really know if there's going to be many people. JJ Boss would probably be the only one I want to sign. And we have money to just kind of go ham with him, and he said he'd like to play for a new team next year. Okay, well, Stephen Kent, wide receiver. We don't have many of those. He is back with us for 5 years. 87 overall superstar left guard is done with us as well. Okay, BJ Middleton, goodbye. We are going to franchise tag JJ Boss, 26 years old, 90 overall star, free safety. Feel like it's too good to be true to let him walk. So only 2 players were above a 70 overall, 74 overall defensive tackle, and a 77 overall tight end, Chandler Bayer. It looks like we've had that many times where only 2 players were 70 overall, but honestly, not too bad of a draft, though. And then here is your team going to the 2038 NFL season. 14-3 record, top of the NFL. Yet again, it feels good to be here. We had a lot of players in the top stats and everything. Oh my God. Thigpen, 5,300 yards, 45 touchdowns, 4 picks. This is probably our best team the whole entire video. And Thigpen will get another MVP to his name. In the divisional, going against the Detroit Lions here, where we'll win 29-10. In the conference against the Washington Commanders, and we will blow them out 41-10. And we move on to the Super Bowl yet again with Mitchell Thigpen. And yet again, this absolute bum in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl at least, cannot get it done. We lose 38-17. So we've been to 2 with Thigpen and we've lost 2. We now have been to 5 and we've won 3. That is, wow. Accepting the option here on our left tackle, Trent Grant is someone I definitely want to retain. He's been here since his whole entire career, so might as well have been here since pretty much the beginning of the video. JJ Boss is back on a 5-year deal. Amare Bowden, I remember picking up your 5th-year option, is back on a 6-year deal. Trent Grant, the aging edge rusher, 3-year deal till he's 36. He said he's back. JJ Ewing on a 2-year deal, 32 years old. He said he is back with this team. We have $61 million to work with in the free agency if we need to. Want to beef up my O-line. 2-year deal on a right guard here. There's a 91 overall, 33-year-old. And we need some cornerback help as well with some aging corners. Got a 26-year-old on the market there. I'm going to make an offer on him as well. And a superstar X-Factor linebacker might as well, on his way out of his career, might as well sign him to try to get him a Super Bowl win. And putting an offer on the right tackle. Hopefully he'll come to us. Doubt it. We're just going to go to the next season and see what the team looks like for 2039. And this is what your team looks like going into the 2039 NFL season. We're getting closer and closer to the end of this video. 10-7 record. Mike Ballmer. Mitchell Thigpen did not play as the starter this season after winning 2 MVPs. Mike Ballmer started for this team. 4,800 yards for him. And we're going up against the Chicago Bears here in the wild card, where we will get absolutely back blown out. We lose 31-17 and are eliminated from the playoffs. Don't have enough money to do anything, so we're just gonna sit in next week and hope that we clear up a little bit. We have $21 million to work with now, where we're gonna put an offer on a quarterback, Taj Smith. Put an offer on a running back. We're in the lead right now for both the quarterback and the running back, so hopefully we get either of those guys. We still have $13.7 million, which means I don't think we didn't get the running back. 10-7 yet again in the wild card round. Mike Ballmer, 4,800 yards yet again, 31 touchdowns. Does that win you MVP? It does not. It gets you 4th place. And then on the legacy leaderboard, as you see, 16,000 for Dave Canales. Quarterback wise, we know Bryce Young is in the Hall of Fame, 25,000 legacy score. And I don't remember the other guy's name. Mitchell Thigpen? 9,000 legacy score for Mitchell Thigpen. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to sneak into the Hall of Fame. which, by the way, in Madden is 10,000 legacy for those of you guys who didn't know. But in the wild card against the Detroit Lions, we will lose 31-23 in a 8-point game. Mike Ballmer cannot get it done in the wild card, it seems. Gonna accept the option on Chandler Bayer at tight end, and Mike Ballmer, we're gonna set on a 7-year deal because he is 27 years old, 90 overall, superstar X-Factor quarterback. This is like to play for a new team next year. Okay, well, that's interesting. You're not, bitch. Franchise tagging you, Jared Cleveland. We have a very good tight end group right now between these two, so I don't want to split them up. Neutral deal on a 5-year. He said this offer's perfect. He's back. We have a right guard again. Trying to make an offer on him. He said he is back. And then Chandler Slater is back as our running back. And then that is all the signings there. With some next week and look at the free agency if I need to sign anybody or not. Where we will make 2 offers, one on the best player in the whole entire free agency and one on a wide receiver. And then this is what your team looks like going into the 2041 NFL season. In the playoffs, yet again, 9-8 against the Washington Commanders. Mike Ballmer did not play every single game this season. It looks like he got injured for one of them. Does that put him at MVP? It does not. Falcons have been producing some MVP quarterbacks during this video. Or against the Commanders, yet again in the wild card round here, where we'll win by 3 points, 23-20, and move on to the divisional round for the first time, I think, with Mike Ballmer, where we will beat the Atlanta Falcons 31-17, not even close. The MVP winner, huh? And in the conference championship, a victory here, 28-21, and Mike Ballmer has just punched himself a ticket to the Super Bowl for the first time in this video. And an unreal loss as we have not scored a single point since halftime. We lose 24-17 after leading 17-3 in this game. Mike Ballmer, unreal way to lose. And that has cost us yet another Super Bowl. We're now a 3-3 record in the Super Bowl. 3 wins, 3 losses. All 3 of the wins were with Bryce Young. I'm just going to re-sign a few players here to make this team somewhat decent going into next year. I mean, it can't really go down much from where we are right now. And here is your team going into the 2042 NFL season. 10-7 in the wild card against our division rivals. If you guys care, the Chargers won, the Falcons won. The Falcons won again here. Like, these are all the teams that have won in the Super Bowl. For those of you who are keeping up. And we'll beat the division rival Buccaneers in the wild card round and advance to the divisional, where we'll beat the Packers 28-17 and move on to the conference championship. And the New York Giants have had our number all video as we lose 35-21, our 3rd playoff loss to the Giants. Don't have any money, just going to franchise tag our tight end and then just kind of move on here to the next season. Mike Ballmer did win the MVP this season. So that means we now have 3 quarterbacks who have 1 MVP. Bryce Young, Mitchell Thigpen, and Mike Ballmer have all won the MVP at some point in this video. And here is your team going into the 2043 NFL season. Only 3 seasons left after this one. 11-6 record in the wild card against the Commanders. Again, I feel like I've played the NFC East so many times. NFC East and NFC West so many times in this video. Barely played the NFC North. But we're in the wild card at 11-6 against the Commanders. And we will lose to the Commanders 30-23 here in the wild card. They finally get our number in this video. Again, we barely have money here. So it looks like we're just going to make 1 franchise tag, maybe even offer on someone that is not expensive. We'll accept the option here. But, I mean, we really just do not have the money. So here we go with the franchise tag on Chandler Bayer, our great tight end that we've had in this video. We're just gonna sit in the next season because we can't do anything in the offseason anyways. Here is your team going to the 2044 NFL season. We're getting really close to the end of this video. And here in the playoffs, yet again, 10-7 record. We have not had a losing record since I think like the 2nd season or the 1st season of this video. Mike Ballmer, 5,600 yards, NFL record, most yards in a single season. Dave Canales, the coach here, as you can see, 18.7K legacy score. Quarterback wise, I believe Mike Ballmer, yep, has just etched his name in the Hall of Fame. And it does not look like Mitchell Thigpen made it in, unfortunately. We could have had 3 quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame in this video, but Mitchell Thigpen just was not there. Unbelievable season out of Mike Ballmer. And here we are against our division rival Buccaneers in the wild card. where we'll get our victory 42-39. Very high scoring wildcard game. I would have loved to watch that in real life. Ballmer throws for 5 passing touchdowns. Ballmer's been on a tear, and he can keep it up here as we win 19-16 against the Rams. And in the conference championship, we'll lose in overtime 33-27. We have $31 million to work with this offseason after being eliminated by the Packers. So we'll take a look around the team. If we can re-sign anybody, we will. If we want to, that is. And then if we could or want to in the free agency, we'll re-sign people there as well. We're going to make an offer on Carson McAllister, and he's back with the team. Defensive tackle Theo Watson is back for 3 more years for the end of the video. And then Chandler Bayer, we're going to franchise tag yet again. Here is your team in the 2045 NFL season. Would like to win 1 more Super Bowl to cement Dave Canales as one of the best coaches of all time. We went 9-8 this time against the Seattle Seahawks in the wild card round here. We're unfortunately will lose 31-20, and that is it for this season. And we have 1 more season left. Can we bring it home in our final season? We've been to 6 Super Bowls in the 19 years so far. Can we make it 7? Gonna franchise tag our 26-year-old 97 overall edge rusher. And here is your team in the final season of the video. We made it to 6 Super Bowls so far, trying to make it 7. We're trying to win our 4th. We've only won 3 out of the 6 we've been to. And we're in the wild card again against the Washington Commanders. We're 10-7 here in the wild card in 2046, our final season in the video. Mike Ballmer led the NFL in passing touchdowns and passing yards, and we are heading into this game where we'll blow them out 24-7 and move on to next week against the Chicago Bears. And we'll beat the Bears 14-10 and move on to the conference championship. Here in the final season, the Seattle Seahawks will win 32-24, knock us out of the playoffs. And we only went to 6 Super Bowls and only won 3 in a 20-year rebuild of the Panthers. Good news is, however, for Panthers fans, you guys went to 6 Super Bowls. So 6 Super Bowls in a 20-year span is a very hard thing to accomplish. So it is a good thing that we were even able to make it that far. Not every single team could be the New England Patriots or the Pittsburgh Steelers or even now the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, a very unfortunate way to end it. I wish Bryce Young stayed in like at least 3 more years. 2 more at best. He would have been able to do something amazing with this team. I think we could have had a 4-time Super Bowl winning quarterback at Bryce Young. Who knows? It was a back-to-back year, so they could have won 3 straight. We will never know what Bryce Young was capable of with this team, as he only played 13 seasons in the league. So, you know, you stay another 4 more years, you play 17, who knows how good you could have done. The Browns will win the final Super Bowl here in the video. And here we are. Here are your records set by players that I played with, or had on my team at least, I should say. Bryce Young, 53.8K passing yards, 396 passing touchdowns. Slater, the running back, 2046 this year. He just has 93 rushing touchdowns on his career to make him the best running back in Carolina Panthers history. Tedero McMillan, the best wide receiver in Panthers history. And then J.C. Horn, the most interceptions in Panthers history. And Trent Grant, the most sacks in Panthers history. And that is a wrap on this video. Let me know how I did in the comments down below. Did you guys enjoy this new style I'm trying with the 20-year rebuilds? If not, I'll go back to the old style. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.